Hey, what's going on, everybody? I think I'm live. What's up? Welcome back to Overdose Vapes. This is Travis. Beast Mode, episode number 108. The 108th time that we've done this. What's going on, everybody in chat? Got my boy Giz. Vaping swag. Sin in. Fix it, Danner. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? So kind of wait till a little bit more people get here before make a couple announcements. Some pretty bad news on a couple different fronts. So I just want to make sure everyone's here before we start talking about it. If you guys go ahead and let me know if you can hear everything okay. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Just let me know in chat. If I need to make any adjustments, please. I know there's like a fat delay, but I'll turn this off. Okay. Cool, guys. Got me fine. Awesome. All right. Hope everybody's doing really well. Sunday night, back to work tomorrow for most of us, unfortunately. I could definitely use a couple more days. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, before we dig into some heavy duty topics, we're going to start with what we're vaping. So if everybody in the chat can let me know what you guys are vaping on tonight, I would love that. Sorry about that. Not trying to ignore you guys. Yeah, what are you guys vaping on? I'll tell you what I'm vaping on. I am vaping on the very last tiny little bit of this kangaroo custard. That lasted for quite a while, actually. We have mystery flavor. No idea. I think it's white girl. No idea. Honestly, no idea. I have lemon cheesecake from Salty Beaches in the Pearl. I've officially broken every single pod system in the house except for this Pearl. And this Pearl, I'm not crazy about it. But the Panda that I was using last week broke, totally broke. Just will not fire anymore. So, yeah, sucks. Of course, Sin is vaping her own stuff. Of course. I hope you're not literally vaping your own shit, because that would be like some Gigi Allen level vaping right there. Panda, she unknowingly donated a bottle of Quick Shake to me. She's probably still mad about this. I was looking in her drawer for something, and I saw this, and I stole it. Pretty shitty dick move. Pretty shitty dick move of me. Yeah, I know. Shouldn't be in your drawer. Okay. What else do I got here? Got unicorn, the naked unicorn. I have it in my little pump bottle here. So that's cool. Rocking that. The reason why I'm using my little pump bottle is because when I actually got the bottle in the mail from 8 Vape, which is usually pretty good, they're fast shipping and all that kind of stuff. The actual plunger itself had a rip in it, and so it was leaking a little bit, and it also couldn't get any inside the little dripper. You could run out, Giz, if you did. What if you were constipated? Boom. That's really gross. We're getting gross now. BSO Red, God, I'm so jealous. I saw you posted in the group about it. God damn, that's the more I think about it, it really is one of my top 5 e-liquids of all time. It's definitely in my top 2 strawberry flavorings of all time. I think that it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, 8 good. I haven't. 8 kind of one of those underrated shops that you know you don't really hear a lot about, but they do good stuff. They do good business. So okay, so I think people have had a chance to show up. They're not here. I'll give them a couple more minutes. Church, what's happening, brother? Um, so we had some bad news. So some really bad news. We've lost a couple people, and this year specifically has been a really tough year. Owen, what's going on? Long time no see, Owen Ginter. Um, it's been a rough year. So at the beginning of the year, um, a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, his name was Virgil Levenger. Um, man, so a buddy of mine, Virgil Levenger, that I went to high school with, had just started vaping. Was active in the channel. Actually won a giveaway. He passed away at the beginning of the year. He had a seizure in the middle of the night and died. That was pretty rough. It was hard on me because we had just kind of reformed our, like reconnected. That's the word I'm looking for. We were very close when we were in high school. But then, you go your own way as you become an adult. And, but then we reconnected, and it was nice. It was nice to relive, my high school years, with my buddy. And yeah, and he passed away, and that was really tough. A couple of days ago, and most of you guys probably have not heard this news yet. A good friend of the channel, good friend of mine, Scott from the UK, Scott Preston, he passed away as well. So I want to say it was last week. It was last week, last Friday, something like that. So if you know Scott, he brought a smile or a grimace to every face. He was something else, man. He was a very special person. He was a very, very special person. He was on the show a lot of times. The only problem was that the time difference in here in the UK is like massive, and so but he used to stay up like until like 3 o'clock in the morning every week just to watch the show. We had a lot of fun back and forth, and if you were friends with Scott, you got a lot of really horrible pornography sent to you in your DMs. And so if you knew Scott, then think about him. Think about him. Yeah, he was a good person, and he went through a lot of stuff. And I think that, like most people, we all go through things, and we all have our issues. But I think Scott, at the end of the day, was able to always put a smile on his face, and put a smile on my face as well. And then, like Giz said here, I found out today that John Mueller also passed away. If you've been watching the show for a while, and you participate in the live chat, you will be very familiar with John. He was here every week. Commenting, telling people to give the old thumbs up. He watched every single one of my videos that I ever made. He was a man of few words. He was subscribed to Panda. He was subscribed to me. He was a man of few words, but he was always there. He was always there. John was like always one of the first people in chat. And when I heard that, it was just really, really, it hit me really hard. It really, really hard. So ADV, so anybody who's just coming in, we lost both Scott Preston and we lost John Mueller within the last week. So yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. I think that we, in neither one of these people, as far as I know, neither one of these people died from anything related to like smoking or cancer or anything like that. But it's one of those things where you start vaping and you one of the reasons is our health. Like I'm going to start vaping in order to increase my lifespan. And then to get taken away like this was just horrible, just absolutely horrible. Yeah, he was a great guy. He was a great guy. John Mueller was, like I said, a man of few words, but an absolutely fantastic person. Absolutely fantastic. So, gonna miss him a lot. Gonna miss seeing him pop up in chat. Gonna miss seeing him pop up in the streams. So, yeah. What's going on, JFM? What's happening, brother? Um, yeah. So both these guys, um, pretty young, youngish, especially Scott was a fairly young individual. I'm not 100% sure about John, but and I was wondering, and it makes sense. So Giz just said it was around the middle of May for John. Makes sense because yeah, it's been a minute since we've seen him pop in, and like I said, he would never miss a show, ever. He would never miss a live show. He would never miss um, like an episode of my reviews that I put out. He was 100% of the time always there to show support. Um, yeah, that's the thing about being a part of this larger online community is that we get to meet these really great people, these one of a kind personalities. But one of the consequences of that is that we also have to experience the loss of these individuals as well. I remember the first time this happened to me was when we had just started this channel. There was a woman. Her name was Adra Maria. Adra Marie. I always had a hell of a time pronouncing her name. Adra Marie. Her YouTube name was Adra Marie Zippy Doodah, and she was like a super fan, right? She watched every single thing we did. She commented on every video, to the point where we actually became Facebook friends. And she was much older. She was like 60 years old, but she was a hell of a lady. So the day that she passed away, she was actually going in for a real simple surgery. And she actually messaged me to say, "Hey, I'm sorry I haven't been, commenting on the videos and stuff, but I'm going in for this surgery. No big deal. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you next week." And then her daughter actually messaged me to let me know that she had passed away. And that was when I really realized that being a part of this community, you get to touch people's lives, and most of the time that's a very positive thing, but that can also leave you open and vulnerable to heartache. And so if anybody needs to talk about these kind of things, if anybody is feeling very upset about learning of Scott's passing or learning about John's passing, you can definitely reach out to me and talk. I'm totally here. You can Facebook message me, you can email me. I'll be happy to talk about it. So just wanted to share that with you guys because you guys are the community that these people were a part of. And yeah, they're definitely on my mind. They're definitely on my mind, and have been. They have been. So yeah, I debated on even doing the show because of that. Death is a weird one for me, right? At first, especially with Scott, at first, I was just mad. If I'm being honest, I was just really mad, not at Scott, but just at the world for taking somebody that's so unique away from us. Scott just celebrated like the 24th or 25th anniversary with his partner. So the world is a uncaring, cold, unfair place, and that's it. All right. So just wanted to share that. Everybody take a moment to, reflect on if you knew Scott and if you knew John. Take a moment out of your day to remember them and to think of them. And yeah, all right. Um, on a positive note, California was facing a flavor ban, and it looks like they have shelved that as of now, at least. So that's good news. And yeah, it's weird to like try to talk about vaping stuff after talking about that. And really, the only reason I'm doing the show is because I know that both those guys, Scott and John, would both want me to do the show. So yeah, you know, that's it. Scott, Scott, if you know Scott, um, he was one of the most selfless people I ever knew. He actually ended up becoming really good friends with my mom's ex-husband. They became like really good friends, and they would talk all the time, right? And it was just like what a small world, And they were both part of a group for a UK-based e-liquid called Royal. That was it, Royal Vapes, right? Uh, Pretty good e-liquid company. Kind of a rallying place for that community. And so he actually is the one who had broke the news to me. And I feel really bad for him as well, because that was a dear friend of his. But if you knew Scott, um, there was a time where Scott, like every week, hell, every day, he was getting banned off of Facebook. So there's a chance that you might be friends with Scott on Facebook like 6 times, because he had like 10 different accounts, because he was always posting very inappropriate things. He posted one time on Facebook, mind you, a, uh, a pornography of a man dressed as a dinosaur, um, and on roller skates, chasing around a woman and then having sex with her. It was on Facebook.
He posted some really worse stuff than that.
He posted some really terrible things, but that was Scott.
Games.
Yes, some fecal stuff, absolutely. Yeah, so sent in, posted a link here to GoFundMe. Um, if you're interested at all, go follow the GoFundMe, and you can learn a little bit more about that and donate if you can. Absolutely. Um, hopefully, hopefully that's something we can help with. One of the things that I love about this community is how giving and caring it is, and we have in the past certainly helped a lot of people financially to overcome some of these medical expenses. Unfortunately, in this country, medical expenses are one of the things that can really hammer us. So let's all take a vape. That's what I need to do. I need to take a vape. I am rocking. I got the Quick Shake from Steep Vape Co. from the UK. Um, Another one of the e-liquids that Scott turned me on to. He loved this shit because there's so much to love here. If you haven't had a chance to try it, definitely worth trying. And I am rocking it in my Heracles RDA on my Rig V2. In my opinion, the last good original rig that they made. The Rig V3 was junk, straight up junk. Also, if you're interested also in helping another, this might be the same thing that Sin posted, but I know that Frank, Papa Frank, as I like to call him, but Frank from Daytime Frank, he's also he's involved in doing a charity kind of thing. So if you want to know more about that, he was going to come on tonight, but after all this, I just kind of wanted to come on and talk about it a little bit. Um, he was supposed to send me a link to it as well, so maybe I'll message him real quick. Yes, so what Giz just said, I love Scott. Just found out that my inbox is no longer being watched by the NSA. the stuff he used to send me, holy shit, R.I.P. Scotty. And that was like the wonderful thing about Scott. So the person who used to do the show with me, Josh, um, so Scott had this thing for me and Josh, right? He used to always send me really, before we even knew him, he would send me really explicitly sexual messages and stuff. It was a joke, kind of, right? But it was all in good fun. And he would send really nasty, like videos and shit, right? And to the point where it was like, okay, enough's enough. But like that was what made it hilarious, was that he was always pushing the boundaries, and to the point where Josh had to like literally message him and say, "Hey, look, you're causing problems for me at work. You're causing problems for me at home. Please stop sending me this shit." That's Scott. Scott was the kind of person where you would have to literally say, "Stop." Yeah. So definitely, if yeah, that's what I was saying. If you have been active in this live stream over the last few years, you'll definitely know who John Mueller is. He was extremely active in this community, and Scott as well. But Scott went by like a variety of different names, and he actually he kind of backed away a little bit in the last few months. Um, Not because of any reason other than I think the time difference had a pretty profound, impact on his ability to participate. Thanks, Frank. Really appreciate it. There it is. Um, so the time difference, made it really hard for Scott to participate live. But he did. He would message me and say, I just watched the stream, the replay. So he was definitely still a part of the community. Mad Dog. There you go. Mad Dog. And he was indeed a freaking mad dog. You know what? And the thing about Scott was that he portrayed this mad dog image. Thank you so much, Frank. I really appreciate it. He portrayed this mad dog image, like he was this foul-mouthed, foul-minded, dirty bird. But the reality was, when you needed a friend, um, when you needed someone to talk to, if you just needed anything, Scott was there 1000% of the time. He was an absolute gem of a human being. And even with all of his nasty, albeit hilarious, messages and jokes and social commentary, much of it very, very razor edge, and a lot of it I did not agree with, but that's what made him so interesting, was his convictions to what he thought was either funny or right, or just whatever was a lark for him at the moment, But he was also the same person who had like maintained like a monogamous relationship for more than 20 years with his partner, and had a terrific relationship with his family, his mother, his sister, his nieces. He was just an absolutely wonderful man, and getting to talk about him right now feels good. It feels really good. I've been kind of closed off about it. Um, yeah, if you haven't seen this fucking strawberry video, that was like one of the ones where I had to like be like, man, too far. You went too far. You ruined strawberries for me. Um, Getting to talk about Scott, it feels good. I've been kind of closed down about it. Not that Maria hasn't been trying to get me to talk about it, but it's been really tough. It's been tough to even think about it. So I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to speculate on how he passed. All I know is that he passed in the middle of the night. And as far as John, I really don't know. I know even less about John. All I know is that right before the show, right before the show, Paul Hessian messaged me to say that that he had heard that John Mueller had passed away. And so I went, to double check. I actually went to John's Facebook page, and sure enough, it looks like he has indeed passed away. So, not for me to speculate on, but yeah, no, 100%. I'm not taking it like you're pushing or anything. I'm just letting you know. Scott, Scott was always on the lookout for like the perfect mod. He was a mod breaking son of a bitch. That guy would go through and lose, like he would lose whole setups. He would, God, he was such a character, man. He was such a fucking character. And he had, he had turned me on to so many good e-liquids. He sent me over the years. So Dinner Lady sent me every single liquid they ever made. Still do, right? They sent me all their lines and everything, except for they would never send me, even when I asked, they would never send me the strawberry custard because it's terrible. They knew it was terrible. They didn't want me to fucking throw it under the bus. So fucking Scott literally went and bought me a bottle of the strawberry custard and sent it to me. That's the kind of person Scott was. He has sent me so many good e-liquids over the years that I was unable to get here because they were UK exclusives. The Momo e-liquids were a good example of that, which were fantastic. What else was it? There's another one. There was like a strawberry sponge cake one that was absolutely fantastic, but that was not available in the United States either. He sent me that. I can't remember the name of it. But so many good e-liquids that he came out of pocket and just sent because he wanted to see my impression of him. What a good friend, and it's gonna be a long road to recovery as far as learning how to live in a world that doesn't have Scott Preston in it. Yeah, it's a tough one. John Mueller was probably one of the most supportive, by one of the most supportive subscribers that I have. Most of my views, and this is how YouTube is for everyone. After talking to a lot of bigger YouTubers, the majority of our views don't come from subscribers. They come from people searching for the products that we review, right? John was like the exception to that rule. He was probably, in all reality, one of the most active subscribers that I have. Like I was saying, every single time I posted something, there's a handful of people that I know will be there to watch it and to comment, or at the very least to throw a thumbs up. And now I have one less of those people because John Miller was definitely one of those people. Some people come for the live show, some people come for the reviews, some people come for both. He was definitely one of those people who came for both, and has offered words of encouragement, has offered words of advice. What an absolute gem of a man he was, and gonna miss him as well. I think we just don't know when our time's up, right? And so that's what makes it so important to live each day to the fullest. And I know that's like the most cliche thing you've ever heard, but it's so true. It's so true. And it is legit one of the reasons why vaping is so important. This is why I don't push vaping, but this is why I try to get people who I know who smoke to switch to vaping. If it gives them one more day, if it gives them one more year, one more week, um, this is something that I believe in. This is something that I think can save lives, or at least prolong lives. And so, you know, yeah, of course, obviously, as we've lost a handful of really good people, vaping is not a bulletproof vest, but it is us doing our best to lead each day to the best of our ability and to try to do things, try to do the right thing when it comes to our health. So, um, you know, all the blessings to Scott, John, Virgil, Adra Marie, all of them. Yeah. Well, I know, Giz, I know you support the old TJ Maxx. You always have. You always have. I'm lucky and blessed to have not just people who watch my show, but I have legitimately um, built a whole group of friends based on this. Hell, I've got a woman out of the deal. You know, YouTube has been my playground. This has been where I come to meet friends, and this has been um, this has been a big part of my life. And without YouTube, I would have never met Giz or Frank or Swag or John or Scott or ADV or that white guy or anybody else. Sen, all these people, Maria, Tony, Laura, what up? Fix It Danner, Matt Williams, Owen Ginter. You know, you guys are a church. You guys are all part of my life in a good way. I know a lot of bigger YouTubers look at their subscribers as being just like numbers, but for me, they're names, they're people, and that's what I love about this. So, oh yeah, so we'll talk about old Josh Hofer. Hope's doing great. Josh is doing really good. Him and his lady are happy and healthy, and they live, on the coast of Mendocino County, and they're living the dream. They're absolutely living the dream. Yes, and besides his absolutely unfortunate taste in NFL teams, he is a good guy. Yeah, they take a big vape for all of them. Take a big vape for all of them for sure. And yeah, you guys, and don't worry about me. I am fine. My heart is broken, um, but I can handle it. I've been through a lot of shit in my life, and while this is absolutely devastating in a lot of ways emotionally, I'll make it. I'll make it through it because what other choice do I have, right? What other choice do I have? And they wouldn't want me. I know these guys. They would not want me to sit around and be a little fucking pansy about it. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't. Especially Scott. If Scott caught me fucking misty eyed and being a pansy about it, he would be so mad at me. And I will say this: I'm not one for super being all mystical and shit. Like like I feel their spirit. But I will say this: I have felt Scott. I have. Um, I felt him. I felt him around. Um, it's just some people have a presence. They have an aura. And again, I'm not a big fucking hippie. But some people have a big aura. Some people have a big presence, and I have felt Scott's presence. I have felt his. I have felt his energy here, um, and so I think that he's checking on everyone. He's here to make sure that we're all going to be okay. And and then he's moving on, to bigger and better things, hopefully. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, I guess people still don't know, and that's, which is understandable. I have touched on this in a number of videos, but I also have put out a lot of videos, and so people miss these things. So Josh actually lives not in Mendocino, he lives in Fort Bragg, which is even further than Mendocino. So we live in Mendocino County, and I live in Ukiah, which is the county seat, right? It's like the biggest area of the county. It's like the city. It's really not a city, but it's a small, it's a small town. But we got about 30,000 people. You know what? I think if you got tossed off Facebook in Scott's honor, that would be fucking amazing. Maybe I'll do the same thing. Maybe we should all get kicked off Facebook in his honor. But anyways, back to so I live in Ukiah. Josh used to live in Ukiah as well when we first started this show. We were both going to Mendocino County College, the Mendocino County Community College, and that's where we met. And he kind of, to be honest, Josh kind of turned me on to vaping. He had gotten some old school like Cardo stick setup thing, and when I saw it, I liked it, so I ordered something online. It was terrible. He felt bad, so he gave me his initial setup and got a new one himself. And then we like moved on and we started getting rebuildables and shit. And I was so afraid of building coils. Josh used to build my coils. It's funny because at the end of us hanging out a lot, I was definitely building him coils. It's funny how things change. And yes, Mrs. Denison's Cookies is definitely still here. It used to be right downtown, and like when you walked like towards the north end of town, like that whole town would smell like freaking cookies. It was amazing. It's a little bit outside of town now. But so anyways, so I live here in Ukiah, and so did Josh. But Josh's fiance, who works for the same company that I do, the same nonprofit, Project Sanctuary. She was offered to be the program director for our Fort Bragg office. Now, Fort Bragg is also a relatively big township in Mendocino County standards, at least. It's the second biggest, and but it's also like an hour and a half away. It's a long ways away. It's like a pretty good drive, and it's not just like that. It's a long distance away. The roads getting there are horrific. It's the kind of pukey, winding, mountainous terrain that makes it so that people don't want to make those kind of drives. And so, of course, given that opportunity, she took it. And Josh moved with her as well. And in doing so, Josh also got a huge opportunity to improve his standing with his employment. And so he got a big promotion, and he took it. And so while at first we were able to make it work because Josh would drive over like a couple times a month, and we would just film like 10 videos each time he came, and that would give us enough material to kind of for me to edit and then upload in the in between times. There was even a couple times where we did things like via Zoom and did reviews. Those weren't, in my opinion, those were never the same as being in person. But then it just kind of got to a point where it was just harder and harder for him to make the drive. My car, which I refuse to upgrade, I'm going to be totally real about it. I love my piece of shit car. I just don't think it could make that drive every month. I just don't think it could. I think it would break down. And so Indy's best. What's going on, brother? So, things happened. Slowly, it just became where we recorded less and less. There was a time where he was like, just go ahead and record a couple of videos, and then just to get us through until I can make it back over. And he just never made it back over. And so it wasn't like some big breakup. It wasn't like some kind of big to do where it was like, oh, fuck you, I hate your guts, or anything like that. It wasn't. It was just life got in the way. Um, Josh is really busy. I'm really busy. The time that we would normally record, Josh now works, and it's a long drive. It's a long drive. It's a lot to ask, you know. It's a lot to ask. So that's how it ended up. And there was a big part of me that felt like, okay, I should probably just stop the channel, because it's Overdose Vapes has been me and Josh for the longest time. But after talking to people like Giz and like, you know, just a ton of people in my life, you know, Panda and Josh himself, um, the choice was continue doing the channel. I would love to have Josh come back and do more reviews with me. I would love that, because there's something about that, the interplay between me and Josh, that was really special. And yeah, definitely. And I think that I have done my best um, to try to make it interesting, um, add a little bit of humor, and but also give good information now. But the thing is, I can't try to recreate what me and Josh did by myself. I just have to make my own thing now. And so hopefully you guys enjoy what I do now. I'm very happy. I'm getting happier with the reviews I'm putting out. It's just about now, it's about increasing the amount I put out. I am getting the hang of this new editing program. So that's a big part of it. And right now I'm doing about a video. I'm doing about one review per week plus the live show. What I want is to get up to doing at minimum 2 reviews a week plus the live show. That would be ideal for me. So. All right, you guys. I'm gonna keep it short tonight, just because, you know, I basically only came on to try to, you know, to share some of this with you guys, to talk it out a little bit. I really wasn't planning on doing the show at all because of what's happening, but I'm glad I did. I hope you guys have a good week. Look forward to a review coming up in the next few days. If you haven't seen my latest review, which was, let me check, which was Kangaroo Custard by Cloud Thieves, please go watch that. I actually think that came out really good. It's a little bit on the long side, but I think it is a damn good video. And I want to say thank you so much to Fix It Danner for supplying me with that e-liquid. It was fantastic, and it was awesome to have a chance to review it. I also want to say thank you so much to my patrons, which is that white guy and Tommy Vapes. And we are going to be doing our monthly patron live chat. So if you're a patron of a certain level, it's like a $10 patron, you get a private chat with me. It's basically like this, except for it's going to be all the $10 patrons hanging out, talking about the future of the show, talking about those coils were disgusting. Talking about the future of the show, deciding what products get reviewed, and then in the coming weeks, asking questions, kind of just having some input on the show. And so yeah, so if you're interested in supporting the show, you can do Patreon. I mean, if you're not into Patreon, you can also, you know, send e-liquid for review. If you want to see me review something, you can always send something for review, like Fix It Danner did. You can do, you know, the live chat, super chat, like Send In has done a bunch of times. You can send, what do you call it? Through PayPal, you can send money. The only reason I'm saying all these things is because people over the years have asked, how do I support the channel? These are ways you can support the channel. And something that I have noticed, and this is something I have actually talked to much bigger channels about, is that companies are not sending out products for review. the same way that they used to. They're just not. Whether that's, you know, because the lawyers are saying don't do that, whether that's because they're afraid of, you know, where the FDA is going, you know, the legality of doing so, for whatever reason. It's not just our little channels, it's bigger channels as well. We're just not getting review samples the way we used to, which is not a big deal, but it's not a big deal for me because I will continue to review products, but it's going to be, this is your guys' chance to decide what those products are, which has always been kind of a dream of mine anyways, as instead of relying on companies to send products that I have no say in what they send, this could be our chance to turn this into, I'm reviewing exactly what the community wants me to review. So if you want me to review some weird friggin' RDA, this is your chance to have a vote on that. And I would love that. And so, again, if all you can do is show up and watch the show, that's more than enough. I am not expecting anyone to donate $1. And if companies stop sending products at all, we will continue to show with or without Patreon, with or without donations. I will always make this happen for you guys. All right. So you're such a shyster, Spork. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. If you do anything and you want to donate any money at all right now, go back up to the links that Frank and Sin posted earlier to the GoFundMe's and donate something to that, because that's someone who legit needs our help right now. So and stay tuned to Frank's channel, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing some kind of giveaway over there as well. If not directly there, he'll have more information about where it's going to be at. I'm always out of the loop with this kind of stuff. So appreciate you guys so much. Let's keep Scott and John and Virgil and Adra Murray. Let's keep all of these people in our minds and in our hearts, because that's how they live forever, is by us not forgetting them. Okay? Bless you guys. We'll see you next week. Much love. Peace out.